Welcome to the 106th District Court. Court is in session. This is cause number 2020 CR 11904, State of Texas versus Jacob Miguel Niera. We're here today for sentencing. We're conducting this hearing by video conference using the Zoom application. We're also using YouTube to live stream the proceedings to keep the hearing public. Time now is 12:37 p.m. on July 28, 2021. These proceedings are official, they're on the record, and they're being recorded by the official court reporter. Counsel and all present are instructed to act as though you were in court, and all are instructed not to record the proceedings. If I could have the attorneys make appearances, starting with the state of Texas, please.
Lindsay Shaw for the state.
Kathy Compton for Mr. Niera, Your Honor.
So are you the same Jacob Niera, who on May 26, 2021 pleaded no contest to possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, penalty group 1 from 4 to 200 grams. Is that you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Actually, that was count 1. It was to count 2, just a possession of controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. Is that you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And this is where the plea bargain is a cap of 6 years opposed, and the state is opposed to any application for community supervision or deferred adjudication. The state, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. If I first speak to the instant offense, this was a case in which the defendant was found to be in possession of 43.7 grams of methamphetamine. That was the field weight. He also was in possession of 2.1 grams of ecstasy. He had a pipe that is generally used for consuming narcotics. He had, on top of one large bag containing methamphetamine, he had 9 individually packaged plastic baggies with meth. He also had other multiple clear plastic baggies associated with the packaging and selling of narcotics. And as to the ecstasy, it was 9 pills that he had. Clearly, 43.7 grams of meth, Your Honor, is not a user amount. It is an amount that a person would have when they are selling narcotics. And in this case, that's clearly what this defendant is doing when he's in possession of that amount of drugs on top of individually packaged amounts ready for sale and distribution. And if we speak to his performance while on bond for this case, we can start with first, after his arrest in this case on July 22nd, 2020, he was arrested on August 27th of 2020 for possession of a controlled substance PG2 less than a gram, PG1 less than a gram, as well as unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. Then, while on bond for all of those cases, on November 22nd of 2020, the defendant was arrested yet again for possession of controlled substance PG1, 1 to 4 grams. And if I speak to that case, it was a traffic stop, and the defendant had hidden in his vehicle behind the radio a small plastic bag containing a field weight of 3 grams of meth. Again, while on bond for all of these cases, he's arrested on December 2nd, 2020 for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. The police go to the street crimes unit, are at a location known for narcotics, and they arrest the defendant with these active warrants for all of the above cases I've mentioned. And when they do so, he's also driving a stolen vehicle. So the fact that he picked up all of these cases while on bond for this case that he's asking you to give him deferred on, Judge, I think that speaks directly to how he's going to perform if he's given the chance at having probation in this case. If we look at the TAP evaluation, it says that the defendant is not motivated for treatment because he does not believe he has a substance abuse problem. So again, another reason why giving the defendant any sort of probation in this case is not the thing to do. He's not motivated for treatment. Someone being on probation, the main point of that is them getting treatment for their drug problem. So if the defendant is not admitting that he has a problem, I think the most appropriate thing is for him to do prison in this case. The report does state that he's a Tango Orojon member. There's not other evidence of that, but it is stated in the police report. And so for all of those reasons, Judge, for the amount of offenses that he's picked up in such a short amount of time, Even though he doesn't have other criminal history, he has shown this court how he didn't take being on bond seriously whatsoever. He showed lack of respect for the court. And for all of those reasons, the state is asking that you sentence the defendant to 6 years TDC.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. You may proceed, Ms. Compton.
Judge, I'd just like to briefly let the court know kind of where I plan to go and what I'd like the court to keep in mind as I present testimony from witnesses. I probably was the most cynical about Jacob compared to anyone here when I first took his cases. And I do think that there are lots of factors when you're looking at someone like Jacob, who there's no question he was out on bond and he kept getting arrested and he kept getting arrested with drugs. And I think that one of the things that does show the court, and I'll speak to that, is that this is someone who, if you look at and I would disagree. I don't think he's not motivated for treatment. I think he was honest about his use, and I think he's willing to go to treatment, and he will do whatever the court gives him the opportunity to do. But one of the things that we see here, and I think what you're going to see, is that Jacob was a good kid. He was a hard worker. And I think he is a classic example of someone who was sort of a casual user and dabbler with drugs. And then when he had sort of a crisis occur in his life, then he took a real hard, left turn toward, using drugs more frequently. And then he just kind of had just a total spin out of control. I will let the court know that, and I anticipate the evidence will show you, that the last time that he got arrested, he chose to remain in jail. It wasn't that he couldn't get people to bond him out. His family could have bonded him out, and they're going to talk about why they didn't bond him out. But he had friends and other people that he could have hustled up the bond money to get out yet again. And he's been in for now almost 9 months. And I'll let him speak to you about some of the changes in his attitude and some of the things that he would like the opportunity to do. But I think that some of the things that were put to you as negatives are actually just red flags that this was somebody who was kind of in crisis. And he has a chance to get out, and he has a chance, if the court will give him that, to get back to the good kid, the good son, the good father, and the good citizen that he was for a very long time before this happened. So if I could call my first witness, Your Honor, I would call Wally Gonzalez, his dad. You want to just move right here?
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm well, thank you, sir. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
You put your hand down. Go ahead, Ms. Compton.
Thank you. Wally, could you let the court know, are you Jacob's biological father?
No, but I consider myself as his father.
And how long have you known Jacob? How long have you known him?
As small as I can remember him.
What does that mean?
Right, like since 1 year old to 2 years old.
So he's your kid.
He's my baby. He's my boy. I grew him up to be a truck driver like me. He is truly a truck driver. He does have family that loves him, cares for him, and needs him. And he has kids that need him. I'm taking care of his grandchildren.
Okay. Well, I know you have a lot to say,
Yeah.
but let me ask the questions and speak slowly and
Yes,
clearly,
ma'am.
because we have a court reporter taking
Yes.
everything down. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, when Jacob, before he had started having these troubles, was he working?
Yes,
And what kind of work was he doing?
truck driving.
And so tell the court about what kind of business you have and what Jacob used to do when he was working with you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a truck driver. I have my own business, Gonzalez Trucking. He would do the maintenance on my trucks. He would drive the trucks in lot. He would maintenance them, change tires, clean the trucks out, get the trucks ready to roll, get them for the next morning. He would work the night shifts too on the trucks.
And about like how many hours a week or how many hours a day? Like what was his typical work schedule when you guys were working?
Well, it varied. It would be like 15 hours a day, 13 hours a day, 12 hours. It would vary depending how many trucks would come in, how many trucks needed maintenance.
Okay. And one of the things that we've talked about is that Jacob wants to get his CDL.
Yes,
Do you think, from what you know, that that's a realistic possibility for him if the judge grants him deferred adjudication and allows him a chance to be supervised without having a felony conviction?
yes, there's a very good chance for him to get his license.
And does Jacob actually know how to drive
Yes,
big trucks?
yes, he does, Your Honor.
Do you have work for Jacob if the court were to grant him deferred where he could have a full-time job and start working toward that goal of getting his CDL?
Yes, I do. I as fast as I could get him and doing the mechanic work, we'll get him to work right away.
And you said that you've had a trucking business. Can you let the court know how long you have had your own business and been working?
To this year, it'll be 38 years.
So you feel like you have an established business. It's not just
Yes.
an overnight
No,
pop-up.
no.
Okay.
I got an ongoing business.
And so let me just ask you about the trouble that Jacob got into. When did you see that he really was sort of spinning out and having issues?
When his wife left him and he lost his kids.
Okay. So, and Your Honor, some of the photographs, and I don't have them pulled up, but some of the photographs that you will be looking at are Jacob's children and family photos. And I just wanted you to have those to have sort of a context of that, you know, of what everything looks like when we're not here and when he's not in jail.
Well, no, the
So
defense
tell the
presented
judge-
defense exhibit P1, which I have and which I've reviewed. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Tell the judge, who are Jacob's children and how old are they?
We got Israel, that's 12, Isaiah, that's 11, and then
It's 9.
9, which is Angel, is 2
2 years old.
2 years old, and then
Jacob.
and then little Jacob is 3.
Now, let me break in
so,
real quick. Ms. Compton, you have the other witness sitting there and she's trying to give the ages, which I understand, but can
Yeah,
you, the other witness?
one at a time, please.
Hold on, one at a time.
Yes.
Includes me, but just, I can't have her speaking when she's not on her oath and she can't give the answers to the other witness. So she'll just have to sit there and wait.
Yes,
until
Your Honor.
she's- Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we'll say that she knows the ages better than you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so are you said that he lost his children. So
Yes.
which children are you speaking about?
Isaiah and Israel.
The older?
And little Jacob. Yeah.
Okay. And so did that, was that where you saw that he started having more issues and
Yes.
having trouble?
Yes, ma'am.
And so let me ask you, when all of this was going on, what were you guys doing to try to intervene or help, or, you know, what were you doing?
We'll give him the best advice that a parent can give him and you know, try to help them on the situation. Taking care of my grandchildren and, you know, do what a parent does, is to love and to be there.
And so during this time that Jacob has been in jail, you've been caring for 2 of his children, is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And who lives with you and is waiting for him to come out and take care of him?
Israel and Isaiah.
Okay. And let me ask you about after Jacob went in jail and since during these 9 months that he's been incarcerated, have you or your wife visited him either on video or at the jail at all?
No, ma'am.
And was that a choice that you made yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you choose that you were not going to visit him?
Well, to let him know that, you know what, he has to better himself and not to do wrong anymore. And another one is, it's hard to see my child, my Jacob in there. And I'm pretty sure my wife is hurting real bad just to see him right now. We don't want to see him like this, Your Honor. We didn't want to do that.
And let me ask you, as far as family support, if the judge were to grant Jacob a chance to have deferred, are you as a family willing to be a support system for him? And if you start seeing that he's having trouble, would you say call his probation officer or let somebody know?
Yes,
And why would you do that?
because we love him and we care for him. And we want him to do right.
And you heard the judge and the prosecutor talking about drug treatment. You have another son who actually went through a program
Yes, ma'am.
here, the very same status program that probation is recommending. You have another son who went through that program a while back. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And can you tell the judge about him?
He's successful now. That program really did save him. He's doing good now. It's been 3 years, I believe, that he's been out of there, and he has his own business now. He's a crew leader on his business. He has his driver license now. He's a better man. He is a better man now. And I'm very proud of all this one.
And do you think that if the court were to grant Jacob a chance at deferred, do you think that status program could be a great tool for him to be able to be successful when he gets out and is on probation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I guess just, is there anything else that you want the judge to know or that you want him to think about when he's deciding what to do with Jacob?
Your Honor, I just want to say that I don't know if you can see my wife behind me, but we do love him. He does have family that cares. His children need him. We need him. I want to get him back to work. I want him to get back in that wheel, get his driver's license, and let's make him a better man than what he is. He is that good man. Just give him that opportunity, Your Honor. Just give him that opportunity. And he will make all of us proud. He will make me and his mother proud, much as he all.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Hi, sir. My name is Lindsay Shaw. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, okay? So you said that Mr. Nira has children. He has 4 children. That's what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they all the same mother?
No, ma'am.
Do you know how many mothers within the 4 children?
2, ma'am.
And you said that you currently have 2 of them or 3 of them?
I got 2 of them, ma'am.
And where do the other 2 children live?
Where they come in, we get them once in a while. We get them, and when it's our week or the next week or the following week, we get them and we keep them with us, and then the mother takes them back.
Okay. And do you think that children that the ages are 12, 11, 9, and as young as 3 should be around an individual who uses drugs?
Ma'am, these are children. These are love of our lives. I mean,
do you think
he
that
could to give him that chance to better himself.
would you feel safe leaving these children with your son knowing that he's uses drugs and sells drugs?
Ma'am, he's the father. Of course I feel safe. Of course, I will feel safe with my grandchildren being around their father.
So you think it's appropriate, sir, for these children to be around him when he's selling drugs and driving in stolen vehicles?
He's not gonna sell drugs, man. This is just a left turn that he took, a wrong turn, ma'am.
And you mentioned that you want to help him and you want to get treatment. So did you intervene and try to help get him treatment after his first arrest in July of 2020?
Everybody needs to fall a little bit to learn more, ma'am. Okay, and he failed.
So did y'all suggest to him that he get any sort of treatment after that first arrest with 43 grams of
We
meth?
did not know, ma'am. We did not know.
So when did you find out that he had gotten arrested after that case?
Well, I mean, obviously it's always on, when we found out was when they arrested him, ma'am.
Okay. And then when he got arrested again on August 27th of 2020, did you try to intervene with him after that and get him help?
Yes, ma'am, but everybody's hard-headed. But we were there, we're still there.
So you tried to get him help,
We
but
didn't
he
get
didn't
him
want to
help.
take your help? Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am, I did not say that.
So then what? So you said you tried to intervene and get him help, but what happened?
We left him, well, we didn't help him get out. He wanted to stay in there, we told him, okay.
But I'm talking about back in August when he got arrested and then he got released on bond. After those charges, after those drug charges and that charge where he was driving a stolen vehicle, did you try to intervene and get him?
We did not know
help?
that either about that. We just found out as much. We found out all this, ma'am. I'm sorry, but we found out. We barely found out.
And so have you tried to help the defendant or help your son get out of jail since he's been in since December?
No, ma'am.
So are you aware that he filed a motion for a bond reduction in March of 2021?
Well, he had a couple of friends that helped him. So I really don't, I can't answer that.
Judge, and I'm gonna object to that because that whatever he sent to the court, that's not a legal filing. That wasn't filed on his behalf. I represent him. He's not pro se. He doesn't represent himself. And as you well know, there's plenty of people who file all sorts of things or have people file things for them when they don't even know what they're filing half the time.
Judge, just the defense tried to insinuate that the defendant wasn't trying to get out of jail. So I'm simply asking him if he was aware that the defendant had filed this pro se motion.
Objection's overruled. He can answer if he's aware.
So you said you weren't aware, sir, right?
No, ma'am.
And do you know if your son is in any gangs?
My son is not in a gang, man.
No further questions, Judge.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. And
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
your wife's going to be the
Judge,
next witness. Maybe we'll switch the chairs then.
Yeah.
All right, can you give us
Judge, this
the
is
name of the witness,
Cynthia
please?
Gonzalez.
Sophia?
Cynthia.
Sophia
I'm
Gonzalez?
sorry, Cynthia.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cynthia. All right, hold on. Ma'am, can you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I need to put your hand down. Go ahead, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you. Cynthia, first of all, take a breath. Are you a little bit nervous? Okay, and so you're going to need to speak up a little bit. Now, as far as Jacob goes, you heard us talking about why you didn't see him, and you've said to me that you felt like that you've kind of like in the past sort of been like an enabler to him. Can you explain to the judge like how this, over these last months, you have sort of changed the way that you see yourself and your role in helping him or supporting him with any issues that he may have?
Yes. I've always said to my children, yes. I always said yes to everything. And when I found out these things were happening, and I took choice to not visit my son or show him that he needed to go ahead and not for me to be there, as when a mother has a chance, when a child is walking, you want to get him and just hold him from falling. And I had to take that choice and make it to where I didn't want to visit him and show him that these are the consequences of what happened. And I fought that so much to know that I had to learn to say no. And that was hard for me.
And you heard the prosecutor talking about that, you know, you guys weren't seeking help for Jacob, but do you feel like what you've been doing and by changing some of your own attitudes that you are helping him?
Yes.
And why do you think that's important for if the judge were to give him a chance to be on deferred adjudication, to be out and supervised in the community? Now, where is he going to live if he gets out?
With us.
Okay. So living with you, do you think that these past few months, the shift in your perspective has made it to where he's either going to be successful or you will be the one to call probation or the police yourself?
Yeah. Yes, of course, I would. And because he knows, and the past 9 months that he's been there, he is a different person, and the system has taught him that that is not a place for him. And I know that he would do good, and I would be a supporter for him.
And you also heard when Ms. Shaw was asking your husband about, well, do you think it's okay for somebody to be around kids if they're using or selling drugs? Now, I get it, everybody's kind of nervous, but let me just ask you point blank. Would you ever allow anyone who's using drugs to be around your grandchildren?
No.
Okay. Would you ever knowingly ever let even your son be around your grandchildren if you thought that he was using drugs or selling drugs?
No.
If that were to ever happen, would you have any problem kicking him out and calling the cops?
Yes, I would.
You would do that?
Yes, I would.
And why would you do that?
Because it's not right. It's not right. And I told him, and I said it to him, and he knows that I'm not gonna let that happen.
And so you've heard some testimony from your husband, and you may know better. When Jacob started, it was just like constantly getting arrested, and this drug problem. When did that start, and what is your opinion as to why he just suddenly just went off the deep end like he did?
I think it was when he had just had his second girlfriend my baby's mama had just had Mr. Little Angel. They were having issues. He was trying to pay rent, work, do all what he needed to do as a father. He couldn't. They couldn't find a job, both of them. So they decided to move in with me. And at the time, they were arguing and stuff. And so she decided to leave. And my son started not coming home. And I guess he was hurting because they had just given birth to Angel, and he was not even roughly maybe a week or two, and I think that's what drove him out to being out there, and just if he was trying to do best and he didn't succeed, and therefore there was no support there by his baby's mama, and I guess that's what happened.
So during this time, Jacob he was actually not working with the trucking company
No.
before all of this happened.
He was doing trucking stuff with his my husband's friends. They're all truck drivers. He was just doing little things here and there to just make the money of, working and doing the landscaping, and doing the oiling the trucks, 18-wheelers, and where he needed help on.
And so do you think that from a mother's perspective, do you think that Jacob does better when he is working full time and busy?
Yeah.
Now, you actually were the one to tell me about your other son that went to SATF.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the judge a little bit more about him and why you think that this is a situation where SATF could help Jacob's your youngest son?
Yes, he is. He's the young.
Can you tell the judge why you would ask him to allow Jacob to not have a felony conviction and to get that start that SATF would give him?
It's a good program, Your Honor. My son, the oldest, actually going on 3.5 years, he was opposed to SATF. He was there for a year, and it was successful for him in his situation. He is now engaged and is working, and just found out he got his driver's license. He is a crew leader. He has inspired so many people, friends that have been in the same situation, and it's a good program.
And what's his relationship like with Jacob?
We've always been a together family. Of course, we've grown up and gone our separate ways and have our families, but we've always, me and my husband have always been to bringing them together and always have, a hi and how you doing, but always been close to each other.
Do you think that your older son will be able to be like a good mentor, a good example for Jacob?
Yes, he was the one that inspired me, that I needed to say no to him and say, he has to man up, Mom, and be there, and just let him know that the system is there, and he's thrown his time, and I believe that he will be different. And I've seen that in my son. I've seen that by talking to him on the phone, that he has changed within these 9 months of being in jail. And I know that it would help him a lot, and if he's given that second chance, and we will be there as a family.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Gonzalez, I just have a couple questions for you. So you said that your older son, he went to SATF. What did he go to SATF for?
For drugs.
So he was arrested for felony drug charges?
I really don't understand what I'm not too known of what a felony or anything like that is, but it was for drugs.
Okay. And so you said that you've been an enabler in the past, right?
Yes.
And you said that, you always said yes to your kids growing up.
Yes. Yes.
And so you would agree with me then, right, that knowing, you yourself said that you've been an enabler in the past, and knowing that 2 of your sons are having, criminal trouble with, getting in trouble with the law for drugs, that there would be some sort of, the state is going to have a doubt as to whether you're going to be able to change your behaviors that you've had with both of your children, and now suddenly be able to, say no to Jacob if he's released from prison and comes to live with you on probation. You'd agree with me that there'd be some doubt about that, right?
Yes,
No other questions, Judge.
but know that program was successful for my son, my oldest son. And I know that these 9 months that my son Jacob has been incarcerated there in jail has been clean, of course, and been there. And he knows that he needed that. And he's taken forward for that situation. And we know that we can do that now together and work together as a family. I did not know about my son Jacob doing these things or accountable, whatever it was, until he was the last, when they put him in jail and he stayed there, is when I made that decision to be there and say no. It was when I found out about my son.
Was he living with you before he went to jail?
No.
No questions, Judge.
Just one quick follow-up. With regard to Jacob's kids, you guys are on good terms with the mothers of his children, and you are all co-parenting these kids. Like, everybody's kind of pitching in to make sure that these boys are happy, healthy, well-loved, and cared for. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
So when he gets out, when Jacob gets out, he will be part of that, as far as there's not, there's no fighting or animosity as far as the kids go. Everybody wants these kids to be happy and well cared for.
Yes, he's good with his, the two baby mamas. We all talk, we all text. We're all good with each other as long as the safety of our grandchildren, and we're good. We're good. We're in good terms with talking and always being connected, and having to put these kids in that middle where that's our foundation to raise them well. And yes, we've done good.
And if you were to, as a mom, tell the judge, what do you think is the most important thing for Jacob? Like, what is his biggest motivator to do better from here on out? What would you tell the judge that is, in your opinion?
His kids have always been his most motivation. He is a good dad. He's always been there for Isaiah and Israel, and little Jacob, he treasures his daddy. He does, and little Jacob, a little angel, doesn't know because he's been in there for his life, but they all love my son. He's a good daddy. He is a real loving good daddy. And I just want you to see that through my eyes and his, that he is a good father, other than these things that are appearing before you, Your Honor.
That's all I have, Judge.
Judge, I just have one more question. I apologize. Ms. Gonzalez, so in 2009, when your son was about 15, he got arrested as a juvenile for graffiti. Is that right?
Yes.
And he was
He
living
didn't
with
get
you
arrested
at that time? And he was living with you when
Excuse
that
me?
happened?
Yes. He was in high school.
No further questions, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. You can go ahead and take a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Judge, I would just call my client, Jacob Nera.
Mr. Nair, do you know how to turn your microphone back on?
Judge, it may be set up where he has to push the space bar to
Hello?
speak, like it may be pushed to
All right,
talk.
he's on, he's on. All right, Mr. Nair, can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, sir.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and put your hand down. Go ahead, Ms. Compton.
Thank you. Jacob, I'm going to keep this pretty short since you've heard everything that's been said. So, do you have an issue with going to treatment if the judge grants you the chance at deferred? Are you willing to go to treatment?
I'm willing to do whatever it takes to do better for myself, to do right for myself. Yes, I'm willing.
Okay. And when you were in high school, like you were an athlete for a lot of that time, is that right?
Yes, ma'am, I was throughout from middle school
And
to
then-
high school.
And then you ended up, it says that you dropped out of school in 11th grade. Can you explain to the judge, like, how did you end up dropping out of school instead of graduating?
I dropped out of school because of the reason of my oldest son. I met his mom in high school. We met. She got pregnant. I started working. I felt her mom and her dad. Well, she didn't have a dad, which is my son's mom at the time. So I was, helping her family out. With everything. Me thinking that I'm now an adult with a kid on the way and needing to provide for him, and I started working instead of finishing school, but I was also taking classes to finish school to get my GED.
Okay. In the PSI, it says that you said that you actually received your GED. They said that they didn't show it. I don't know how they looked it up, but did you actually get your GED, or were you just doing classes?
It was a class. I can't remember the name of the name of the program that the high school had gave me to take at home, or take as because I wasn't going to school no more at the time, so they gave me all the like history, math, science, and things like that to finish to get my GED. And it was a certificate that they had gave me once I was done doing all that, and they gave me a certificate. I'm not sure if maybe my mom or my dad might have that still, but
Okay.
I had gave it to them.
And as far as any gang activity, are you in a gang? Have you ever been a member of a criminal street gang at any time?
No, ma'am, I've never. I'm believing that they have me down as that is only because of my tattoos, and that's the only reason why they're probably putting that on me. I'm not gang related. I've never been a gang affiliated. I don't really hang around. I don't hang around with people that are gang related and things like that. I have kids. I don't like to put myself in that kind of environment. That's just not me.
Gonzalez, come here.
It never will be.
And let me just ask you about, you had a pretty good clip there for a few months where all you were doing is basically just a revolving door of drug-related arrests. You don't have any kind of felony history before this period of time when you were just getting arrested over and over again, right?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have no.
And so can you explain to the judge, like, what was going on with you? Why did you all of a sudden go from somebody who really had never been in any real serious trouble before to just like this constant period of just arrest after arrest?
Well, Your Honor, you see, I've always been the type to be a hard worker. That's one thing my mom and my dad has taught me, to be the most hard worker, never give up. That's our motto. And I've never have given up ever since my first son was born, all the way to my last son, Angel, was born in 2019. I've always been there for my kids, even though me and my first baby mama are not together. She knows that, she can, if she were to be going through a struggle or were to fall off, she knows that she can give my two oldest sons to me, and I have a house for them, a room for them, beds for them. I provide for them. They never put me on child support because of the reason that they know that I'm there for them. Even if they're not living with me, I stay working, whether if it's working for my dad, whether if it's working for his buddies, which are all truck drivers. I've been around 18-wheelers all my life, ever since I was little. I started out playing with them, and now I'm driving them, working on them. I don't have my driver's license or CDL because of the fact of me getting into some trouble when I was in high school, and but now I am working on that to getting all my tickets dismissed and things like that to get myself my CDL. And in 2019, I've never been homeless. I've always had a house, moving from house to house. I pay my rent, I pay my bills, my utilities. Um, and in 2019, when with my second baby mama, when she had Angel, my last son, me and her split up because she wanted, she just wanted other things, and that was fine with me. She went her way, I stayed doing what I was doing, living at the house with my my newborn baby and my 3-year old. And at that time, my two oldest sons were with their mom in Arlington. And what is it called, at the once me and my second baby mama split up in
But
2020.
Jacob, let me hang on just a second. Let me stop you. So you were actually taking care of the kids after the split with your second
Yes,
mother
but
of your children.
it was only for about a month. Only for about a month, I got to spend with him. Once she started living with, one of, with her family, I gave my sons back to her. And because I was moving from place to place, I was losing my house, kind of losing my car. Then
Is this because of I mean, be very honest. Was this basically because of your drug use and your partying that you were having so much trouble?
really, I really didn't really have a problem doing all that. It started coming a little bit after that. What the problem was just me losing my, not having my kids around, and that led me to partying more and being around friends more and doing things, making decisions that I normally don't make, and not going to work and not really caring of having a house and things like that. But then, I bounced back when I came. I kind of pulled myself away from my family, and that's why they really didn't know much of what I was going through. And I didn't want to bring it up to them because I'm not that type of person for them to know me as, doing drugs and things like that. And my family not now being there for me and things like that. When I caught my first case, which was with the possessions, after that, when I bonded out, I tried so hard to get things together, and it was things were just going so quickly. I got arrested again after the first possessions, and the unauthorized use, where I bought one of the vehicles.
We don't need to get into all the details of everything. I just want to make sure though that you understand that you're not trying to tell the judge that you're not responsible for your own bad behavior, are you?
No, ma'am. I'm
Are
responsible.
you? And you're not telling the judge that you don't think that you have a drug problem. Obviously, you kept getting arrested with drugs and pipes and things like that. So you're not here telling the judge that it was just some bad judgment on your part, are you?
No, ma'am.
So let's talk about these last 9 months. You and I actually had conversations where we talked about you just needed, and I'm going to quote verbatim pretty much what I told you, is you just needed to sit your ass in jail for a little bit, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that's what you've been doing all this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you let the judge know what's your biggest takeaway from these 9 months that you've been in jail?
Meaning, I'm sorry.
Like what are the biggest lessons that you have learned, or what kind of wisdom have you gained from being in the Bexar County Jail for the last 9 months?
That lifestyle is just not for me. I just being in here is really opened my eyes back up to what I used to be and how I was making, decisions. And is being in here is it's not for me. It's not something that I would ever want to, go through. It's something that, it's good for me that I came in here and spent the time that I've spent in here, because now I'm a better person. I know I can do the drug program. I know I can get out and finish the judification if you, Your Honor, were to grant it to me. I know I would do better for myself and do good in everything that I put my mind to and everything.
And I see that you're wearing white instead of an orange uniform. And what does that mean, Jacob?
This means that when you're in white, you're a trustee in the jail. I don't qualify because of my charges to be a trustee, but I've worked my way into, there's a lot of officers in here that, they come to get to know, inmates and see how they are. And, a lot of them, we have, they see that I like to work. They put me to, they've given me the chance to work, and they've seen that I've worked good and that, I don't, that I'm a good person, get coming to talk to me and everything like that. I've been working for these past 6 months. Every chance that I get to go to work, I volunteer. There's a lot of pods in here that are in quarantine for because of COVID. And when that happens, they go looking for workers that, that are trustworthy to work, and they have me in the system to where, I just get called randomly now to go to work for whatever sergeant, whatever corporal. And they know my last name is good. They know I'm going to get the job done, whatever it is that they want me to do.
And Jacob, do you feel like if you've heard everybody talking about you getting your CDL, do you feel like if Judge Moore were to give you a chance to get through this without having a felony conviction, do you believe that you could accomplish that goal and get your CDL and start living the life that you would want to have for yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I know that goal is a must for me. That's what I want to do. My dad that's sitting right there is telling me everything that I know. 18-wheelers is trucking is my thing. It's I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my blood that's what I'm supposed to do with my life, and that's what I want to do. I really hope I can get this, past me and get this a chance to get the adjudication, so that way I can get my CDL. I don't want that to get taken from me, Your Honor. I really don't. I love trucking. I love the smell of it. I love the feel of it. I just love being around them. As my sons love it. I want to teach them to be truck drivers, just like my dad taught me. And I don't see no other way of working. But if I didn't get the chance, of course I wouldn't give up on working. Of course I wouldn't give up around being around 18-wheelers.
And so is there anything else that you would like to tell the judge, or that you want the judge to think about in deciding what to do with you, Jacob?
It's just a please, just please. I'm not a bad person, Your Honor. I'm really not. I'm a really good person. I don't teach my sons bad. I don't have them around bad things. I don't keep them around bad things. The time of me getting these charges is just something that I was alone when I was alone, and it happened by myself. And if I could just please get another chance, Your Honor, I wouldn't let you down. I wouldn't let the state down. I wouldn't let, Miss Kathy Compton or my parents or my family down. I could get past this and overcome it. Just like I did when I was in high school. I'm sorry, Kathy, I did go to, I do have a graffiti charge, and, even that little scare of going to juvenile, or coming around juvenile, I did get through that judification and passed it and I went through it. I passed everything and got off of probation early because they seen that I was a changed person. And even from then until now, I've stayed out of trouble. It's just that this little bit of time of that of what I was going through is put me here, and it won't happen again. And that's all, Your Honor.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Nera, when was the last time you were employed?
Last time I was employed was probably in I've been working, ma'am. I've been working ever since that I can remember. Every year, every month, I've been working, whether it's landscaping or trucking or doing my own little side jobs with landscaping that I've learned to do.
Were you in possession? You were in a possession of a large amount of meth to sell it, right?
To sell it, no, ma'am.
So why did you have 43 grams of meth?
It was just at the time. To be honest, it was just.
Was that for personal use?
Yes, ma'am. Personal, just to have. I didn't know what to do with. I didn't know what to do with all of it. To be honest with you, I really didn't. Okay. I really didn't.
Why did you have it packaged in individual baggies?
It was just how I got it, ma'am. It was just and I didn't have it for long. It was just how I got it, ma'am.
And you said after you completed juvenile probation, you didn't get in trouble again until these cases, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But you got arrested March 7th of 2015 for possession of marijuana, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And you said you're not a Tango Arajon member, but Mr. Nero, what kind of tattoos do you have?
I just have the Texas symbol on me. I have San Antonio, just an S and an A. I have the Spurs on me, and that's just why they put me down as that. But I explained to them that that's not. I've gotten these tattoos when I was 17, 18 years old.
You're aware then that a tattoo such as the Spur, that's consistent with a Tango Arajon tattoo, right?
I now know that. I didn't know that at the time of getting them.
And you know that the Tango Arajon, a gang, it's not an organization, a formal organization, right?
What do you mean?
And Tango Arajon members always deny being a member of that gang in jail, right?
I don't know that. I mean, I'm not denying it because of that. I'm denying it because of I'm saying the truth. I'm not affiliated. I'm not a gang member. I never will be. I never been around. I've never been in jail up until now. And that was put on me when I first came in here. Or actually in 2015, I believe that was put on me. That was when I had got the possession charge. That was years ago when they told me that and asked me that if I was a member, and I told them no, but they put me down as that because of the tattoos that I have. Yes, ma'am.
No other questions, Judge.
Judge, that's all I have, other than just some brief argument.
All right, State, you have any argument?
Judge,
Chad, it's already have.
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Ms. Thompson?
Judge, just briefly, I hope the hardest thing for me is when Bexar County is a great place to have a client who's, guilty and needs to go to prison. Quick, no mess, no fuss, and, I can get some great deals. The hardest situation for me as a defense attorney is when I have someone that, I really, really, truly believe needs a chance. It's always a much harder road here in this county. And unfortunately, I couldn't convince Lindsay, and I understand she has, she's got her considerations that she needs, to look at. But that's why we're here in front of you. And that's why, we were willing to risk prison to get a chance to ask for deferred. And I know sometimes people are nervous and, I can't call central casting and get somebody here to make the most eloquent plea. Even as an attorney, sometimes I wish that I were more articulate in getting across how important it is sometimes to just give someone an opportunity to show really who they are. And I think what we have here is we have a young man from a family that is loving and supportive, that has good morals, good support system. And I think that his history shows that he knows how to work. He knows how to take care of his kids. He knows right from wrong. And he just got off track. And he is really the poster child for what these programs that we put our tax money and all of our hopes into, these programs are designed for people like him in his situation. He's never been convicted of a felony before. He has a plan for when he gets out, and he has a realistic goal. It's not some kind of pie in the sky. I'm not sure what I want to do. He knows what he wants to do. He has the support system to make it happen. He did wrong. And obviously, the court has all of his mistakes in front of you. With deferred, I think that gives the court everything that you need to accomplish all of the goals for everyone here involved. Because this young man has sat in jail for 9 months, waiting to have this chance to ask you for deferred. His family has not seen him. They've had limited phone calls with him, and that's been by their choice to show him that his behavior was not acceptable to them and that they were not going to normalize that for them or for his children. They didn't want his kids thinking it was normal to go see their dad on a video jail visit. If he screws up, you have a huge hammer to hold over him. And I always tell people, and I'll make it very clear, if he screws up, you won't see me here again asking for another chance for him. I won't represent him again, because he's making a promise to you, his parents, and to me, that if you give him this chance, he will succeed. And that's all on him. From here on out, it's all on him, whether he's by himself, with his kids, homeless, living with mom and dad, whoever. It's his responsibility. And I think that he is capable of doing that. And like I said, I was the most cynical. When I first met him, I wrote him off. He was going to be a kid that was just a future inmate. But my dealings with him, my dealings with his family, and the changes that I've seen in him, they have convinced me, and he won me over, and I was the toughest audience he probably had. So I'm hoping that you will listen to everything that you've heard today, and that you will also take into account, if it means anything, what you know about me. And I rarely go to bat this urgently for someone and ask for so much, but I believe that he has a lot to show us. So I'm going to ask you to grant him deferred. If he needs to go to SATF, he's ready to go. He'll stay in jail until a bed's available, do what he needs to do. But please, Judge, please just give him a chance, because he truly deserves it.
All right, sir, I find that your plea was freely, intelligently, voluntarily made. There was sufficient evidence to support the plea, and that you're mentally competent to enter into such a plea, and I find you guilty, sir. Counsel, is there any legal reason as to why your client cannot be sentenced today?
No, Your Honor.
No legal reason. In accordance with the agreement with the state, sir, I sentence you to 5 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and I will give you credit for time served. There's a $1,500 fine. Taken in consideration are several other cases. I will read you the cause number, tell you the offense. If you plead true, then I dismiss that case. Do you understand how we're going to proceed, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Cause number 2021 CR 1393, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. How do you plead? True or not true?
True.
That's dismissed. 2020 CR 11905, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. How do you plead? True or not true?
True.
It's dismissed. NM 592856, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 from 1 to 4 grams. How do you plead? True or not true?
True.
That's dismissed. You will pay restitution to the Dare County Crime Lab in the amount of $372 for their costs in testing the substances. Sir, there's a plea bargain case. I followed the plea bargain, so you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You do not have the right to appeal. You waived your appeal in the plea bargain agreement. I'm making a certification of this for the record. I'll provide a copy of the certification to your attorney to provide to you. I want to thank the family for coming in and testifying for today. And good luck to you, sir, as well. This concludes the hearing. We are now in recess. And is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.